Alright, so what we're going to do is show you how to change out your foot pegs. A lot of people have struggles with these, and so did I originally, because of this, trying to get the spring and the bolt to line up through there. So the first thing you're going to have to do is take off your old peg. Now there will be some sort of wire or pin that's holding in the bottom of the peg to keep it from slipping out. So we're going to need to remove that. Mine's kind of getting worn, so I'm actually just going to twist and break mine off and replace it with new ones. Alright, so as we pull our pin out of here, broke the end of mine off and pulled the pin out. There should be a washer that comes off the bottom. This is going to help keep the foot peg pin from slipping upward and crushing your wire or cotter pin that holds it in and won't let your foot peg slip out. Okay, so we're going to take a flathead or a Phillips screwdriver. We're just going to follow this bolt as we push it through. Just give a little tap. Should be easy enough to do by hand typically. If you need a little assistance, you just grab a little hammer and some light tapping and drive it through. So now we've got our pin for our foot peg. All we got to do is just back the screwdriver out. We've got our foot peg and our spring off together. Make sure there's no damage where your foot peg is or it comes into the frame. Now we're going to show you how to put the new one on. Okay, so what we're switching out is a stock peg for an IMS Pro Series peg. They're about the same width, so there's really no change there. The teeth depth on them are very similar to stock. My biggest issue with the stock peg is they're very strong, but these things that help make them strong at the same time in muddy conditions can kind of clog up a lot of mud, and you get a lot of mud stuck in here, and you've kind of lost your grip on your peg. These IMS are completely all the way through, so you could lose a little bit of strength, and they might have less resistance to crush this way. But they do clean out a lot better, so hopefully you won't be getting any wrecks since you can keep your feet on the pegs. Okay, so here comes the trick to putting these on. We're going to be using our screwdriver again. We're going to lay our spring inside of our foot peg. We're going to put our foot peg and spring both inside of the frame of the bike here. Obviously the spring is going to give you some resistance. And all I'm going to do is going to take the screwdriver and I'm going to put it up through the peg, the spring, and to the top of the frame. This way we can chase the bolt back down through with a screwdriver. It's much easier to do it with this much smaller diameter screwdriver to get it through the peg and the spring and the frame. Our peg is sitting in the bike. I'll put the screwdriver in just far enough to hold the peg. Take our spring, push our spring into the peg. While the screwdriver holds the peg to the frame. Slip our screwdriver through the spring. Give a little bit of push in with your hand to line everything up and push our screwdriver through. So you can see this is a normal position. Make sure that your spring is in the correct position. You can see it's got the correct spring. So now we need to put our bolt through. So let's take our bolt and we're going to chase it down with the screwdriver. You may have to push in on the peg as this isn't going to be lined up as the screwdriver is a smaller diameter. Start to chase it through. As you get down toward the bottom, the spring is going to put a little bit of pressure on here, so you might have to just kind of get it lined up. You may even want to use just a little hammer to kind of help tap it. Get it lined up in the frame. And our pin is through. Now not to forget to put your washer on the bottom of the pin before you put your retainer pin in. Okay, same procedure, opposite side, a little bit different view. Okay, you can see our washer, our spring, the peg on both sides of the spring, and the frame on both sides of the peg. And then our retaining pin that holds the spring peg to the frame. We're going to take our screwdriver, place it at the bottom of the retaining pin, and drive it through. Just drive it through. Shouldn't take a lot of effort. Screwdriver, peg, and pin are still in place. The screwdriver just replaces the retaining pin. So let the foot peg hang out, tilt out as far as you can, give yourself as much room as possible. Put yourself a little bit of a gap in between the frame and the peg to allow you to put the spring in easier. So put your spring in, get the screwdriver started into the spring. This will keep the spring oriented upright. Make sure you do start it in the proper position, otherwise you won't get it back. So, I'll show you what we've done here. We have slipped the screwdriver through the bottom part of the frame, the peg, and now the spring. We're not through the top part of the peg or the frame. So all we're going to do is push the peg inward to help align the whole top of the peg and frame and push our screwdriver through. So as I mentioned, push the peg in, shove the screwdriver through. And now we have it in proper alignment with the screwdriver all the way through. Now we're going to put our retaining pin and drive the screwdriver back out.